Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. I welcome you on behalf of Toastmasters for Professional, and we all are here, global audience from the different part of the world. So, Toastmaster for Professional is a global online club based out of California, USA, and we focus on skills related to interview preparation, career guidance, interpersonal communication, effective communication, and handling difficult situations. So, as a sergeant at arm of this meeting, I welcome you all. And before we start meeting, I narrate the ground rules for this our club and as a Toastmaster. As a Toastmaster, we don't talk about sex, religion, and politics in derogatory manner. So please refrain from discussing these topics. Please put yourself in the mute when you are not speaking, and please turn off your video if you are stepping out of the meeting. So with this, without further ado, I would like to hand it over to presiding officer to carry out the agenda of this meeting, today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Another exciting meeting at Toastmaster for Professional, isn't it? I welcome all the guests in the room and would like to hear from Dan. How did you hear about our meeting? And what is that you want to take as a takeaway from this? You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for having me. I found, as I was mentioning, I found you on the Toastmasters International site, looking for a good online Toastmasters club, and maybe I found it. I'm amazed you meet every week, and today you have 24 participants already. I'm coming to you from Taiwan, and I grew up in California, not far from where you're based, but been living overseas for many years. So I'm I'm looking forward to getting back in touch with my homeland, so to speak. And I just briefly, I have to moderate a big webinar, so I'd like to practice speaking online. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I also acknowledge the presence of other guests, but meanwhile, we'll well into the meeting.
Thank you.
Before we go into the meeting proceedings, as a Toastmaster of the day, I want to introduce the role plays for today. What timer for today is Sukrut. Sukrut, do you want to quickly introduce your role and also tell us how you're going to help us with the timer cards that you have?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my dear fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Myself, Sukrut. So for today's meeting, I'm going to play the role of timer. Timer is an important role in our Toastmasters because our speech goes like a vehicle, and we don't know when to stop. I help you with the timer cards like green, yellow, and red. When you are giving the speech, please pin my video so you can see the timer cards. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, if you are riding and you keep applying brakes and clutch or crutch, you will have a bumpy ride. Let us see how our counter Raghuram has to say and how is he going to help us. Raghuram.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. This is Raghuram here, and I am an R counter for today's meeting. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used, such as crutch or pause filler, by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I'll also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase, such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I'll report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Raghuram. Now it's time to introduce what I call with love is the English teacher of the day or the grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Guillermo, joining from United States. Guillermo, please introduce the word of the day and your role as well.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am the grammarian in today's meeting. I will pay attention to all speakers and take note of outstanding words, quotes, or sayings. As the grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. In today's meeting, it is obstinate, which means stubbornly adhering to an opinion, purpose, or course, in spite of reason, arguments, or persuasion. An example of using the word is, I admire his determination and obstinate energy. Every speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. Are you able to hear me clearly? Wonderful, thank you. Can anybody help with me? What is the tagline of Toastmaster? Who wants to try? What is the tagline of Toastmasters?
What was the question?
What is the tagline of Toastmasters?
Respect, integrity,
Not
service,
asking,
and
thank you, but I'm asking the tagline, not the core values.
Where leaders are made.
Wonderful. Today, that is what we are going to talk about. Where leaders are made. How are they made? And why should they be made? Why should we need leaders? Why should we need leaders? And what according to you, are leaders? Anybody wants to define that?
Well, we need leaders because without leaders, there would be no clear direction. And someone has to take the responsibility for seeing that the goals are met and that everyone, the entire team, is not going off in a happenstance mode.
Thank you. In a professional life, what according to you is a leader? Rather, how do you lead the leadership? Anybody wants to speak? Who is a professional working in a corporate?
Someone who can take a team from where they are now to a next level. Maybe they are struggling, who can help the team in solving some complex challenges, who's always there for the team, and don't shy away when there are complex problems. Help them to identify their potential, reach the newer heights.
Wonderful. So you mean to say somebody who can leap in and at the same time show direction,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Diana, you can type in. Anybody wants to talk about, as an entrepreneur, Maya, what according to you is the leadership?
According to me, the leadership is, I want to see my downlines take action and move forward. I want to see their success as a leader, prepare them as a leader for the future. This is leadership according to me. And also train them where they are lacking in, so that they achieve their goals on timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you. So if I have to summarize what you told, it is love your team unconditional and everyone equally, right? Doreen, you have something to say.
Actually, I just mentioned that Deanna raised her hand, so I wanted to make sure because I know she really wanted to participate. Is it okay?
No, she just wanted to introduce herself. So we have
Oh, okay.
Diana. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect.
Justine,
Can you hear me?
I can hear.
Leadership to me, as everyone's kind of put, kind of agreeing with everyone, but leadership to me is a clear side of direction. I think D Mary, if I'm saying your name correctly, Shy King, really hit it on the money with a clear side of direction. Someone that has that, whether it's a dominant voice or just a clear, focused, conscious thinking, that can collectively speak on behalf of a group and lead them to the collective common decision that's good, that's right for the entire team. So that's leadership to me, someone that's willing to take those active initiative steps to get something done from point A to point B.
Wonderful, thank you. So leadership should be able to give direction when team is missing it. I will take the last one from Sujata. Diana, we can introduce yourself any time, but right now we just ask leadership. Sujata, you can go.
Yeah, hi. Leader to me is someone who is leading by example and supportive, coaching the team and wherever required, guiding them to a right direction. So leader is basically a kind of a coach who lets you know that if you are lost, where you need to go, which direction you need to take. So that's what leaders are, and that's what leadership is.
Thank you. So they follow code, but they set example by following the core values. Thank you. The leader is club meeting as per Diana. Okay. We talked about two L's. One is once people have to love the team unconditionally. They cannot differentiate people. You cannot be a leader where you're favoring someone in your team at the same time and giving advantage, leaving others. You have to love your team unconditionally, whom you're working as a leader. Second thing, you need to leap in when necessary, and you need to lead your team with examples. You need to set the example by following the core value that been set, whether it is corporate or whether it is your Toastmaster that you're setting. And third thing is listening. And how do you improve your listening is how you practice your Toastmaster skills. Today, they're going to discuss everything here. What all we discuss here will be part of this session. We're going to talk about the leadership opportunities in Toastmasters and also about what is the crux of it and how we can take that to our professional life is what we are going to learn today. Talking about leadership in Toastmaster, first we need to understand what is the structure within Toastmaster and why is the structure. Now, if you look at the Toastmaster hierarchy, the members are at the top, but the members have to be served. So you cannot expect Toastmaster World Headquarters to do that. Now, any Toastmaster club has 20+ members when it is chartered. Now, normally you can say, you can argue, but the club need not have 20 members. Yes, I agree with that. But while chartering, it is expected to have 20+ members in that. Now, once you have that club, above club, to manage clubs, they are divided into areas where it has about 3 to 6 clubs. And then there's an area like that. Now, to again manage it better, there are divisions where they have about 3 to 6 areas under one division. And to manage divisions are based upon different regions. We have district. It can be some certain times cities, certain times it is states, certain times it can be even a nation. For example, our country like Pakistan is a district in itself, district 122. But in India, when it comes to, we have about 7 districts. In United States itself, there are just 9 regions in United States. There are several districts in the state itself. The above district, it is the regions to manage the districts. And above region, it is international, world headquarters, where we have board of directors to manage it and to support us, to lead us there. This is the structure that is there to help us manage better. Now it comes how the leadership is there to manage. For example, at club level, we have club level executive team that helps to manage our club level business. Above club, it is area directors. Area directors are going to help us to giving direction, mentoring us where necessary, and also sending the news from district to us. They are the connection for the district and between the club. When it comes to division director, they are the liaison between the district and the area directors, and they are the one who are strategizing how we can make things better for areas, for the clubs, etc. And whether it is bringing PR to doing PR or bringing in new clubs and everything, whatever necessary strategy. Now, above division at the district level, we have 3 officers who help us to do that. Program quality director, who is responsible for the quality of the program. What are the different programs that we can bring to improve the quality in the district, whether it is introducing education session at district level, or whether it is bringing some award for the club for achieving something, or how they can promote the clubs to do better in the program quality. Their focus is completely on the program. For example, Toastmaster meeting, educational awards, are doing better in our education, etc. Education program in Toastmaster. Their focus is completely there. When it comes to club board director, their focus is completely on managing clubs, sustaining clubs, or when the clubs are weakening, how they can support with club coaches, etc. So this is the focus of 2 different focals. Now, district director is more focused on helping the trio, or rather the 2 officers, and then helping everyone, guiding just like a mentor for entire district. But as he or she is not always reachable, we take the support as necessary through area director, division directors, or then program quality director or club board director as necessary. And when there is extreme condition, when you have to escalate something, district director comes in picture. And also normally, depending upon the attitude that we discussed right now about the leader, the district director is always reachable. Now it is a time to understand what club executive committee and how they are going to help the club and what are the roles and responsibilities. But before that, I want to halt here and see if we have any questions so far on what we discussed. Any questions? No. I take it as a no, and then we'll go to club executive committee. What forms a club executive committee? 7 officers form club executive committee. Club president, VP, vice president education, VP membership, vice president membership, vice president public relations, VP PR, secretary, treasurer, sergeant at arms, and immediate past club president. Immediate past club president is the one who has already left. But for us, as the club that is chartered recently, we don't have immediate past president. So that rules of responsibility lies on the current club president, which will be me. Now, let us understand each role in detail. What is the roles and responsibilities of a president? As a president, it's more like you are overseeing what is happening. You are not getting into anybody's shoes, but only leap in when necessary. For example, VP is not there, VPM is not there, or VPPR is not working. Anybody is not doing the roles and responsibilities. They have some challenges there. Either you get somebody's help, or either you get into their work and get it done at that point of time. That is what is necessary. Otherwise, club president is more like a mentor for the club and trying to help each person to perform their role. You are necessary to, for before meeting, the roles and responsibilities to see if VP has everything necessary for the meeting done. But VPM needs to coordinate with the guest and also the members as necessary. So he will talk to VPM and VPE as there at meeting, the roles and responsibilities, greeting the guest, and also bringing the meeting to order, and briefly explaining about the events are also about the meeting structure. Sometimes it also depends upon the club but a culture basically. They can also briefly introduce about the club. They're also responsible to run the club business. For example, sometimes what happens is there are certain decisions to be taken. For example, you need to change the club timings. You need to initiate about the club business, or you need to call some certain meetings after the actual meeting. So all the business meeting will be headed or will be chaired by the club president. What are the roles and responsibilities outside club meeting is where you will be chairing the executive committee meetings. You will attend the area council meetings, and also you will be assigned proxy to district council meeting if necessary. And in the district council meetings, you are responsible along with your VP to vote in. And then you are responsible for meeting club coach officers if necessary. For example, when a coach is assigned to the club, when the club is not performing well, the coach is the club officer, the club president will work with. Well, as per the new rules, president has to sign an agreement with the club coach. They need to work closely with the club coach and see how way they can work. If the newly chartered club like ours, the president has to work closely with the club mentor and also get the mentoring as necessary and get the direction that they want the club to be in and work closely with all the officers accordingly. If there are any problems within the club officers, you are responsible to manage that, and you need to build a team as a whole. That is the roles and responsibilities of the president. Give me just a minute. Sorry, I'm back. So those are the roles and responsibilities of a club president. And next comes our vice president education. Now, if you talk in terms of a chess game, vice president education is more like a queen on the board. You are responsible for the club to fall or to stand, because the program quality of the club decides whether the club will continue, because that will attract guests. Before club meetings, your responsibility is to coordinate with all the role players, filling all the role players necessary for them, coordinate with the speakers to get all the requirements of what are going to speak, how they are going to do it, get their evaluation sheet and share it with the evaluator. And same time, understand, or rather see that all the members understand their roles, ensure the speakers understand the program, work with them. And if there are any new members, your responsibility lies in giving them mentors and also working with them to understand the pathways program. What do you do at meeting is where you, in absence of president, you greet the guests, and same time, you are also responsible for presenting educational awards. And after a club meeting, you are responsible to see a retrospective. What could have been done better in the meeting? And also seeing whether any projects are complete, the members are actually going into their base camp and completing their projects there. And same time, help with them if they're completing a level. You need to approve that both in base camp and also club center. You're responsible as a board for that. What are other things that you need to do? Outside the club meetings, you are responsible for organizing meeting, work with people to understand their educational needs. Understand that education needs is something that is must. Most of the club lack this, which is why most of the club go after. As soon as a member joins, as a VPE, your responsibility lies in understanding their educational needs, same time understanding what are their membership goals. If you can match both and assign a proper mentor and same time help with the pace of the members, you will help the club succeed better. You also need to explain to education program, you need to submit education awards, ensure meeting rules are properly filled. You need to plan for speech contest when it is a time for contest, and you need to manage the mentor programming in the in the club, and same time you are responsible for attending area council meetings along with president. You're also responsible for attending DCM, district council meeting, which happens on a regular basis. For example, something like 2 months or 3 months, and you need to attend there and you can vote in as necessary there. And you also are responsible for attending the meetings where the voting happens once in a year in the district. The president and VP education, you get to vote for our district officers. The district officer voting happens for the trio, which is district director, club door director, and program quality director, and division directors. So you get to vote for them based upon the pitch that they give, or sometimes based upon the credentials. Now, this is something that you do as part of VP education. Your whole and soul, the centerpiece of this puzzle of a club. We're coming to VP membership. You're more like an HR, recruiting members to the club. You give the list of the members to the president who have joined on a regular basis, and you also need to interact with the guest. Now, something as that I've learned in the roles of VPM is interacting with guests. Guess what? My regular interaction with guests have helped them to see the value in the program, same time help me to build new relationship outside Toastmasters as well. But when I interact with guests, it's not just asking whether they want to join Toastmasters. I am talking one-on-one, understanding their needs. It's more like Indian matchmaking, understanding and the needs and what Toastmasters has to offer, and then do the matchmaking. And with that note, I was successful in bringing members to various clubs that I was part of, whether I was coaching, whether it was as a club officer, as a VPM, or anywhere. This is what you need to do as part of VPM. It's more like an HR to your organization. You build your networking skills. One thing that you need to do is being empathetic, not just selling the program. You need to understand their needs and offer them Toastmasters as a solution. At a meeting, you need to greet the guests, provide guests with the guest packet if they have, and meet the guests to answer any questions if they have after Toastmasters meeting. And then you need to collect dues. You need to work with treasurer on a regular basis. When they are renewal, you need to make out list members who are due to renew and work with both the treasurer and members to do that. And if their membership, their membership contest, something like Smedley Award, that is where when you need to add members, the number of members in August and September, you can work with team like that, and talk of Toastmasters in February and March, where you need to add certain number of members, and then there are awards that comes to the club. Beat the Clock Award is in May and June. Now, let us pause here for a while and see what does these roles have to offer you as a whole. For example, when it comes to district officer, it's more like managing mid-sized organization. And where you learn how to manage outside the team. As a club officer, you learn to be part of the team and learn, more like a club leader. As a club president, you learn the abilities to lead a team, being part of the team, not interfering into their business, but same time, giving them mentorship as necessary and leaping in when necessary. You're learning those abilities here. As a VP education, you are learning to assess the needs and same time where you can improve that. For example, in corporate, we need to understand the learning needs of our team, don't we? And same time, how we can lead by offering different programs. By this, you understand how you can manage things, whether it is events or whether it is different sessions that you can give in corporate level. You also improve yourself when you are part of the program, and also when you keep giving your speeches. As a vice president membership, you improve your networking skills, how you can assess the membership needs, how you can work with the team, how you can break the ice talking to strangers, how you can work with people is something that you are learning as part of vice president membership. Trust me, I have played vice president membership several times. As a VP, I got in touch with each and every members. There were people who didn't give a speech for years to come in one of the clubs that I was part of. But as soon as I became VPE, I was empathetic to them and started working closely with them. And then when I was able to do that, these members were able to break that ice, come out of the cocoon of comfort and able to complete certain levels. It is just that you need to be empathetic and work with them closely in this role. Now coming to your vice president public relationship. This is one of the wonderful role where you get to network outside your club too. For example, today, one of our guests came seeing the poster in one of the Facebook group. It is where you are necessary to prepare the communication for the meeting. You need to work closely with the Toastmaster of the day and VP education and understand the theme of the day and prepare your poster as accordingly. And then you also need to prepare a text properly based on that and try to send it across. One thing that I do as part of BPPR that I do is I prepare goals of what our club does and paste it in each and every meeting post. I also post a provocative statements about the meeting theme so that it becomes interesting for the guests to see what we have to offer. What do we have to offer in the specific meeting and what do we have to offer as a club? And that is what makes a best presentation and for guests to see the value in joining our meeting. Advertise in different groups, social media, FPR, everything, anywhere. And once you need to beat guests and members as necessary. And also as a VPPR, you're also responsible for recognizing members, whether it is the new members who have joined or whether it is when somebody has achieved something, you need to post it in different social media platforms. Or if you have a group, for example, we follow WhatsApp group. Some people, they have groups in different setups that they do in different applications, they can do that. And you also can publish club activities. If you have education sessions, post it, and before that, you're also responsible for newsletters if you are doing as part of your club. That is VPPR. What do you learn as part of this? You learn how to advertise yourself. You learn how to advertise certain activities that you're doing. People who are successfully doing their VPPR role, they were able to do better poster for themselves, advertise themselves. Now, one of my mentors, DTM Jervis from Goa, he was invited to work for the Ministry of Manpower in his state. And what helped him in that role was his VPPR role in his club. That helped him to be a part of the PR for the Ministry of Manpower. Now you see the benefits of doing a VPPR. It helps you do VPPR. For example, if you're in marketing, this is the best role that you can. The VPPR helps you a lot, how you can market yourself, how you can market your product, and etc. So that's about VPPR in brief. But talking about secretary, this will you're in this role, you are responsible to take the notes in the club meeting. Now, when you're taking the notes, as per the rules, you are necessary to read whatever the notes that you have done, the minutes of the meeting, and the next meeting. And you also, after the meeting is done, you need to publish or circulate that minutes of meeting there. You're also responsible to attend the club executive meetings and then publish those meetings as well. Now, this is something that you need to read the minutes of meeting if necessary. And then you're also responsible to work with BPPR and VP membership to ensure that there is a newsletter if the club is going to publish one. One thing that club secretary also has to do is update the club officer list once the elections are over in the club central. That you must do as part of this role. Now, coming to other thing is you need to maintain club member contact information. You need to maintain all the club documentation, from charter documentation, everything that needs to be maintained. You need to maintain minutes of meeting after meetings and also club executive meetings in your drive, perhaps, maybe because you are meeting but virtually. Otherwise, if you are meeting physically, it needs to be maintained in a file and everything. And you also need to record voting. For example, when sometimes when there are no takers and just one person standing for a role, you are responsible to record that voting for that member and declare that member for that club officer role. These are the things that you do as part of secretary. And what do you learn? You learn to improve your language. You learn to improve your written communication. You learn to actually listen to things. This is what you learn as part of it, and also managing things that you do. Scribble the notes as you listen to something is something you improve yourself. The language part, the writing part, and also if you're practicing your speeches along with it, you will excel in that as you keep innovating yourself when you're writing. Outside secretary, the next role is treasurer. Treasurer is more like a finance manager in your company. Like you're responsible for the finances of the club. You prepare the financial report. If the club is taking some money extra from each member outside the Toastmaster dues, you need to maintain that. Sometimes they maintain in the bank, sometimes it is just the normal, the personal accounts. It all depends upon the club culture, the district, or sometimes whether it is outside United States or in a different country. It all depends upon the club culture, basically. And as a treasurer, you're also responsible to meet and greet in the absence of BPR and also VP member. And after club meetings, what is the role is reconciling deposits and expenditure and cash, and in each month, if you have something to deal with, and you're responsible to collecting membership dues. If for example, right now the self-pay is enabled, but if the members are not comfortable doing self-pay, you are the one working with them, those members, collecting their dues and then paying in the club center for them. And you are responsible that the club submits dues in time to Toastmaster International. Now coming to the last but not least is Sergeant at Arms. You are responsible to open the meeting. You saw Jay today opening the meeting. You set the energy of the meeting. It's all up to you how you do that role. There's no past and best rule saying that you have to do this way. You can innovate the way that you want. Setting up the ground rules or setting up the meeting energy is all up to you. Before the meeting, you are responsible for meeting reservation if it is a physical meeting. If it is online, you have to open the Zoom meeting at least 20 minutes before, and then let the guests come in and then let members come in, the role players come in. This is the discipline that people have to set in the meeting. Join early and see that everything is proper. For example, if you're joining in last minute, your audio might not work, your video might not work, you might have difficulty with internet, etc. You don't have to get to check it. Same time, the club officer, someone has to open the meeting. Sergeant at Arms has the primary responsibility, but other club officers need to support in that. During club meetings, Sergeant at Arms is responsible to meet the guests and members as soon as the meeting is open. And then you're also responsible for electronic presentation needs. For example, something like your Zoom, you need to take up the Zoom admin role or the host role. And you also, for example, if it is in the physical meeting, you need to set up the projector or lighting, etc. Normally in a physical meeting, you need to sit near the door and see that nobody is coming between or going outside the meeting. If it is in Zoom meeting, you're responsible that there's no Zoom bombing, no one disturbing when the speaker is on the stage, and you need to manage all the issues that are there. See, the Sergeant at Arms is where you get to greet everybody. Irrespective of whether you have a role that day, you get to speak for at least 2 to 3 minutes every day. You break your ice. That is what you will learn. As a treasurer, you learn to manage finances for a group so you can manage better for yourself. As a secretary, you will learn to be a better admin of the thing, managing the documentation and also improving yourself in writing. And as a vice president public relationship, you're improving your networking skills and same time improving advertising yourself or other things that you have. And as a VP membership, you learn to interact with guests. You learn to interact with members on a regular basis, understanding the need that you can take back to your professional career as a leader. And then as a VP education, you assess needs and same time improve yourself as a leader in this part, as a president, you learn the most and the best part is not interfering in a leadership role, but how you can help a team to succeed. Success or failure of the team lies when we don't see a hard and fast rule saying, this is my role and I'm going to just. One thing that you need to know is every role, we may have a particular person, a particular role for that, roles and responsibility, but not restricted to one role. You can leap in as necessary. For example, in the absence of VPE, president can jump in, take the roles. If in absence of secretary, someone can jump in and take the minutes of meeting and publish it. It doesn't matter like that. So what you need to learn, the 3 L's. Do not have any favorites. Do not do a favoritism. Love your team, your club members unconditionally. Love. Second L is where you listen to everybody's needs. It's very important as a leader. That's how you grow as a leader in Toastmasters. That's how you grow as a leader outside Toastmasters. That is very much necessary for you to become a better leader. Unless you listen, you never understand, you will never grow. Last but not least is leap in. This is important for you. Leaping in when necessary in Toastmasters, or leaping in when necessary outside Toastmasters in your professional career, professional life or personal life. That's how you handle the crisis. Love, listen, and leap in. These are the important characteristics, are the important roles and responsibilities of club officers. Now I'm open for questions. Anybody has any questions? Dan.
Yes, that's a great description of the roles of the officers. But I picked up on one of your early slides, the organizational chart that had members at the top. And that's correct, because the clubs belong to the members. And one thing I see that's missing in Toastmasters clubs is the members are supposed to make the decisions of the club. Having read the governing documents of Toastmasters International, including the constitution for clubs, it's very clear that the members are supposed to elect officers. Members are supposed to vote to accept new members. If you have club policies, I know you have a policy of no speaking about politics, sex, religion. Well, the members are supposed to vote on that policy, because Toastmasters International allows discussion of those topics. So I'm wondering what you think of clubs, clubs getting members more involved in making decisions. It could be a fun and educational process.
Thank you, Dan. Irrespective of how the structure is done in Toastmasters, club is an autonomous unit. District has no say in the club proceedings. That you must understand. The district officer are there to serve. What you do inside your club is none of anybody's business outside. But then there are government documents that Dan has mentioned. This is government documents that the club officer should get familiar with. The decisions are certainly made by the club members, whether it is elections or other decisions. So as a club executive committee, you get to discuss something and vote in before coming to club. When it comes to the club, there are business meetings that happens that I showed in the club president roles and responsibilities, where club president in his absence, VP Education will chair that. And in that process, when you chair that business meetings, the club gets to vote. For example, if I have to change club meetings, I as a president, it is not my right. I can only propose it and the club members vote it. Unless I get 51% voting from the club, what to say, size from what I get from my team. For example, I have 34 members. I need to get 18 members to vote in for that change. Until then, it doesn't happen. So the club members have final say. Some clubs follow saying the club executive committee has decided this and that's going to follow. No, it doesn't work that way. As per the business bylaws, it is that way. And third thing, you talked about saying this sex, politics, and religion. Only we suggest saying that do not talk in a derogatory manner because they're hot topics. Just like your hot girlfriend, these are hot topics. And as soon as people start talking it, everybody gets hot and then their mind gets puzzled and they want to talk about it. We don't want people to get into that mode. And second thing is talk in any derogatory manner in any way so that it will instigate people to come and fight with you. That's not what Toastmasters is all about. We are here to talk and improve ourselves. How to become a better speaker, not to react, to respond. That is why we say that. Otherwise, there are clubs which are based on religion. Example, there are some clubs in District 101, I think 2 or 3, which are purely based upon out of Catholic churches. So they entirely their speeches are the religion and they can talk about it. There are certain clubs which talk completely on political speeches. There are certain clubs which are talk on something else. So we are not going to talk here. It's more like what is the focus of our club is more of professionalism. So that's what it stands for. I hope I answered that.
Yes, you did. But did the members vote on this policy? I'm just curious. Because if the club decides to do this.
That is not a policy. That is not a policy. What Jay mentioned is not to speak on any derogatory way to hurt the members on
Of course
stage.
not. Of course not.
That's what
You talk about
the
these
suggestion.
topics.
It is just a suggestion. We are not
Suggestion,
enforcing
okay,
anybody.
okay. I see. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for that.
Shashida, you have a question?
What are the prerequisites for becoming an executive team member from a member?
None. There are none. No prerequisite. It is just that the club decides. It's more upon. But what I suggest is that you take one role at a time and try to improve yourself. VP membership should be able to convince the guest to join the club. As a VP PR, you should be able to improve what the poster that you're developing and able to advertise well. As a secretary, you should be able, rather, not you should be, you are keen to do the notes. The intent matters. Do not take the role and just sit there. I've seen several clubs where people just take the roles and sit like that. If you don't have any intention to do the role, please don't take the role. If you want to do, if you intend to do the role, only then take these roles. As a treasurer, you should be able to manage finance, because we are all okay to manage finance. You should be able to do that. As a sudden term, anyone can do that. The intent matters here. As a VP education, I would say at least complete your level 2 or level 3, because you need to understand the program before you go and tell somebody about the program. So I would suggest only, but in Toastmasters, there is no prerequisite. At least complete your level 2 or level 3 before going for VP education. As a president, I would say at least complete your VP education role before going for president, because unless you understand the program, you're never understanding what is happening in the program or in the club. So these are, I would say, this is the hierarchy. At least you should understand the program before leading them. This is what are my suggestions. But otherwise, as a Toastmaster, there is no prerequisite until area directors. After area directors, there are prerequisites, but until area directors, there is no prerequisite to do anything. That's the thing. Diana, you had a question? Thank you. So you're, even in her disability, she's always keen to learn. Thank you for those comments. The leadership speech is better for club members, and she has learned how to serve in different role in Toastmasters, and she also keen to become a distinguished Toastmasters. Thank you very much, Diana. Any other questions?
Sorry, can I answer?
Go ahead.
You said that there are prerequisites for like district level. So can you just tell those prerequisites?
I reserve that for a different session. That is
Okay.
not in the purview of club officer session, right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions? Going once, twice, and thrice. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed, or whether you slept over the meeting, or you understood. That is what the meaning when you don't have questions. Thank you very much for that note. It's time to start our meeting. And we have our first speaker, who is Toastmaster Doreen, and our speech evaluator is our dearest Mohan Teneti. Mohan, can you please introduce the speech of Doreen?
Today, Toastmaster Doreen, she is delivering her speech on level 3 on conflict. The speech lasts for 5 to 7 minutes. The title of her speech is Shift Left on Conflict. Toastmaster Doreen, she has a unique style of mixing core technological concepts to her Toastmaster world. Last time she talked about PhD, SQL Server, and so on. Today, when I saw the shift left, the word purely from technology world, I'm fascinated how she is going to create an interesting speech. Thanks, and wish you all the best. Over to you, Toastmaster Doreen.
Thank you. Happy Tuesday and happy Wednesday for those of you, depending upon where you are. Greetings from Las Vegas. My name is Doreen. My pronouns are she and her. The only title I use, if you'd like to be formal, is doctor. For anyone attending via audio only, I'm a white female with long, dark, blonde, soft curly hair, wearing a green blouse, and I have my blue block reader glasses on. Shift left on conflict. So today you get to hear 4 keys from the first key ring in the new book, the second book in the series, Galley's Keys to Success. The first book was Galley's Keys to Success on Optimize Your Career, which had 6 key rings and 78 keys. Today, we're talking about the new book, which does not exist, but the first key ring is shift left. What does shift left mean? Engineers use the term shift left to refer to moving critical decisions early into the process, as early as possible. To the right would be after something's delivered. To the left, as far left as you go, would be day 1 on planning. For example, if we were to take a 1968 Mustang and try to put some airbags into it, it'd be kind of ugly and complicated because we're over to the right, the car's already been delivered, it'd be expensive. However, if on day 1 of designing the 2023 Mustang, we think about where we're going to put the airbags, it's actually quite easy. So let's shift left on conflict and let's see what we can do. First key, show up rested. Let's be honest. We have all had a late night flight in from a business trip and then an early customer meeting at 7 a.m. Is it the best time to have a meeting? Are we rested? Are we the most compassionate, empathetic? Are we the best listener? Are we someone who might accidentally be obstinate just because we didn't get enough rest? The number one thing you personally can do to shift left on conflict is make sure you show up everywhere as rested as you can. The second key, focus on the facts. Interestingly, we are always taught to listen to the tone. We practice that in Toastmasters. However, did you know, according to the CDC, 60% of all adults have a chronic condition? You know, that late night flight coming in? It's not just about that. With 60% of adults having a chronic health condition, there's a high probability there's something else going on in their life. We won't even get into the child that was up all night sick. So if you focus on not the tone, especially negative, you can eliminate a lot of conflict. And I didn't pre-wire. I didn't pre concerns. Then
Seems our internet is unstable.
Sorry about that. It's time for our second speech. Will be DTM Raghunadha, and the speech evaluator is Distinguished Toastmaster TMoD. TMoD, can you please introduce the speaker?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. Our new member, Toastmaster DTM, is going to give her icebreaker. Since it is an icebreaker, I am not going to introduce the speaker. The speaker would introduce herself to the club with the specific project objectives. Her path is effective coaching. That's all I can say right now. I'm eagerly waiting to hear more about DTM from her. Over to you, DTM. All the best.
I didn't say that. I didn't mean to say it like that. And if that's what you thought I said, you misunderstood what I was saying. By a show of hands, who in the room has had that kind of response from a speaker when you gave your evaluation? They challenged you on every point and said that you did not understand their speech. I see the Pradwell has, and I can tell you that it has happened to me. Mr. President, Toastmaster of the Day, and fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, effective coaching is a way to help the club, its members, its officers, anyone in need of moving from one level to a higher level simply by overcoming obstacles. The primary goal of effective coaching is to guide someone to become the best communicator and leader that they can possibly be. I chose effective coaching as my pathway because I want to be able to be effective in everything that I do from this point on in Toastmasters. My goal is to be an effective communicator, but also by being an effective communicator, I need to be able to understand what's involved in evaluating someone else. I have learned that a great speaker oftentimes is developed by becoming a very good evaluator. When you can point out and understand the mistakes or the missteps that someone is making when they speak, it helps you to say, well, I won't make that same mistake. So that enhances your ability to speak. Now, when we think of an effective coach, that is someone who, number one, is intentional. It's not a lackadaisical thing. They're going about it in an intentional way to assist the person or the participant in moving to the next level. Number two, they are an active listener. You cannot possibly coach and change someone's direction unless you listen and understand where they are at this moment. So they have to assess the individual or the club or whatever it is that they're intending to change or coach into the next level, they have to assess that entity and get a baseline understanding. This is where they are. This is what we have to do to move them to the next level. How effective coaching will help me? I feel that I am a blank canvas at this point, and I'm simply waiting to have all the dots dotted and all the T's crossed. And I feel that by becoming an effective coach or learning what that entails, it will help me to develop skills that I need to effectively communicate, to be able to evaluate a speaker, and to be able to understand what it is that I am hearing and seeing at any point in time. Toastmasters is founded on communication skills and leadership building. I would be selling myself short if I had not gotten into Toastmasters with the express intent to become an effective communicator and a dynamic leader. Those are my goals. DTM, absolutely. If I'm going to do all of these pathways and I'm on the third one now, I'm going to make that count for me because time is money, and especially my time. But I also think that by becoming a distinguished Toastmaster, it is a phenomenal achievement. It is an honor, and it speaks well of the individual. It means that you are focused, you understand how to make your time count, and you're taking yourself to the next level, because all along the way, there are so many things that you learn, so many skills that you acquire. One of the pathways that I have already completed had me to develop a social media platform. Oh my goodness. Now I'm somebody that does not understand technology that well, at least that's what I think. And to set up a social media platform and have it function, it was the last word. So I can assure you that by following the tenets and pathways, and this one I'm so excited about, effective coaching. Effective means that an outcome is going to be positive, that the person will have moved to the next level. And that is where I want to see myself go, to the next level. I want to be in a position to utilize effective coaching, the skills that I learned, to be able to turn around and effectively coach someone else. Back to you, Madam Timer.
Wonderful, Mary. Effectively coach and lead by examples. Apart from these roles and responsibilities, one role lies on each club officer is to lead by examples. Now, what I've noticed, people, once they get into leadership positions in Toastmasters, they stop giving speeches. They stop moving forward in their Toastmaster journey. That is the biggest mistake that you'll be doing. Because once your role ends, you will be left no more, because you joined Toastmasters with the intent to improve yourself as a public speaker. Do not get into the vicious circle of power or trying to just become a leader and go with the titles. These are not meant for titles. You are a servant leader helping people to become better at these positions. It's a volunteer organization. We are not getting paid for anything. You need to work on your speeches. Once people see you as a leader giving speeches continuously, that is when the guest members will get motivated to join. That is what has kept me on shoes every time. Whatever position that I took up, whether it is club officer, area director, or division director right now, I never stopped giving speeches, never stopped taking any roles. That has helped me improve myself as a speaker or as a leader. You please lead by example and keep doing it. And Mary, I'm proud of you. You always keen to improve yourself, and with your speech that you take, it is evident that you have a plan and going to work upon. Now, Doreen could not finish her speech. She has left it in between, or rather, technology, her favorite subject, has ditched her in between. But she never likes to get ditched. She's back like a lion to leap upon us. Doreen will continue her speech from where she left. Timer, please note, that was at 4 minutes. Now she will continue from where she left. Thank you, and over to Doreen.
Excellent. So key 2 was to focus on the facts, assume everyone else had a bad day. Key 3, to pre-wire your meetings. What happens when you pre-wire a meeting is you don't bring everyone all together expecting chaos. For example, when I wrote my white paper with Microsoft, I didn't bring all 300 engineers together with the meeting without pre-wiring. I first had pre-wired meetings, previous meetings individually with each group, to hear them out, hear their concerns, accommodate their concerns, make sure they understood some decisions they might be uncomfortable with. Generally, those were the ones that CELA would only allow us to say some things. We got on the same page. When all the engineers came back for our final approval, due to the pre-wire, there was no conflict. In fact, we finished the meeting 15 minutes early. So key 3, pre-wire your meetings to shift left on conflict. Key 4, BATNA. This tip I learned when I was in executive training at IBM. They use this book, Getting to Yes. And the key is remember and know everyone's BATNA. Anyone heard of that before? BATNA, best alternative to negotiated agreement. BATNA, best alternative to negotiated agreement. For example, you're interviewing for a job. There's a hot market. You're a hot candidate with lots of capabilities. The people know interviewing you, making you an offer, they better make a good one because there's another offer coming in right afterwards. However, if there's a horrible market, guess what? That might be a little stingy. Know everyone's BATNA before you negotiate, and you'll eliminate a lot of conflict because you'll know what's on the table and what's not on the table. Not sure where we are on timing, but I think we're getting close because of all the mess up. So I'll do a summary. So for the first key ring, shift left on conflict. For Galley's keys to success, preventing and managing conflict, we have show up rested, focus on the facts, pre-wire your meetings, and know everyone's BATNA. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Sorry, I was talking here. Thank you very much for 2 great speeches, Toastmaster Doreen and Toastmaster Doreen. Now it's time for feedback. As they say, feedback is the breakfast for champions. Now it's morning in India. Let us see what is the first speech evaluator has to offer in the breakfast. Our first speech evaluator is Toastmaster Pramod. Sorry, was it? I messed up. It is Toastmaster Mohan. Mohan is still there.
I am there. So shall I go ahead with my evaluation?
Yes,
for
please.
Doreen?
Yes.
Okay. Do you all know what is your BATNA? As usual, Doreen has come up with some very interesting topic. I don't know where she gets all this wealth of knowledge. Maybe she reads books or from his experience. What a wonderful acronym and the way she presented it. There are so many good things in her speech. So I am going to present my evaluation in a format. First, I will tell what went well, the Scrum format, Agile or the Scrum format. First, I will tell what went well, and then the areas of improvement, and then just the summary, overall summary. Coming to what went well. The structure of the speech is amazing. It is well structured. She has first introduced what she is going to talk about. Then she showed us all the 4 points, key 1, key 2, key 3, key 4. And finally, the conclusion. It is a very good structure. The second thing I can say, outstanding thing is he has showed us a couple of books. Showing something definitely imprints that point in the minds of the audience. It's a technique to make a speech or a point stay with the audience for a long time. That's a very good one. The third thing is, they use the word BATNA. So that is something eye-catchers, again, to gain the attention as well as convince your point. Let me summarize. Let me come to the third point in the positives, what went well. more about the body language, the gestures you have used, 1, 2, then the vocal variety, the happiness that's coming out of you, the positive energy coming out of you. So all your body language really added to the speech. At the same time, but I would also like to give some improvement areas. If I'm in your position, definitely there are a couple of points I would have done it a little better. The couple of points are audience awareness. The examples you have given, the first two are more high-tech, high technical examples. Not many are very tech savvy. Maybe you can flip the last two examples are non-technical. So maybe you can use those examples in the first, right? So use the non-technical examples first and then the technical examples in the end. And the other one is gestures used for 1 and then 2. You showed the fingers, but you discontinued it later, maybe because of the technical glitch you faced. So those are the 2 points I have. To summarize, it is overall a very good speech, just with some minor improvements in the gestures, and focusing more on the non-technical examples that will definitely captivate the audience. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mohan. That was great breakfast. It's time to see what we have in lunch. Distinguished Toastmaster Pramod.
Mr. President, Toastmaster of the Day Fellow and future Toastmasters, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Congratulations to my targeted speaker, DTM, for delivering a stunning speech. Yes, I would say it was a stunning speech. Why? Because she started with an energy level which I have never seen in many of the icebreakers. And I think that is the key to giving a good speech. You have to have your energy level very high when you are giving a speech, especially in the online meeting, so that you can create a presence with your words. And she was very successful, and she asked a question, and she grabbed the audience attention by asking a question. There are many methods, and she's an experienced and seasoned speaker. And let me honestly tell you, this is the first time that I am listening and I'm seeing a speech with the icebreaker speech with a different perspective. Why? Because normally in icebreakers, we listen about the person, we listen more about the speaker, personal details, professional details. But she had given more emphasis to the path that she selected, and she explained to us how she wanted to grow with the path as a person. So that was something extraordinary, and that was something new. And she correctly explained what is the importance of evaluation and coaching, effective coaching. If you look at carefully, evaluation and coaching are the two sides of your leadership skills. One is getting feedback, and the second is giving feedback. And as a speaker, she's starting a new path, and she explicitly stated that this is what I wanted to achieve from this path. And that was very specific and clear. And even though I expected, I didn't give any introduction to her in the beginning when I was called to speak about the project objectives. I expected some more information about DTM because I am seeing her for the first time. I don't know from where she's coming and what is her profession and all the small details which I think I wanted to know. When in the beginning of the speech, I expected that you would be telling all those things to the audience, and this audience is quite new to you. So it will help the club to understand more about you. That was one just recommendations. Even if you are going extraordinary, out of the way, unconventional to give an icebreaker next time, also please include some personal details in that so that it will help us understand more about you. And there are some specific objectives for an icebreaker. So it should have a perfect structure. Of course, your speech had an opening, body, and conclusion. It was perfectly drafted and written and practiced speech. And the clarity was super clarity. I'm sure that nobody would come again and ask you a question about your speech because it was very explicit and clear. Vocal variety, you had vocal variety, and that is something I look forward from each of the speakers because I wanted to learn more about vocal variety. And you are a class teacher for me when it comes to vocal variety. And eye contact, even in online meeting, you perfectly managed your eye contact. I was just looking at the poster and the way you are delivering your audience awareness was quite good. And comfort level was really good, and you created interest about the path and about you. And wish you all the best for all your future speeches. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Raghu.
Thank you very much, Pramod. You remind me of this abbreviation for DTM. Don't time me. Thank you very much. Well, we have a custom in Toastmasters, which I missed, but I say sorry for it. Then I want to take it up. Whenever someone is giving an icebreaker, normally in physical meetings, we give a standing ovation. But in online meeting, it is not possible. So I request everyone to unmute yourself and give a big round of applause for Dorothy King. Great job, Dorothy. DMary Shai King is her pen name. She's an author. That is her pen name. Dorothy King is her sweet name.
I think she
Yes,
preferred to be called by DMary.
I was going to say that. Thank you so much, Raghu. I am a self-published author. I have a signature book that's entitled Glass Heart Forever Yours. I thought that I had written a romance novel. And when I wrote the book, I listened to a voice inside my head that I assumed was the voice of God telling me to put up or shut up. Absolutely those words. So I simply proceeded and wrote the book. When I started to market the book, I found out that now I have a platform that I am following, and it's domestic violence, because the book was written against the backdrop of domestic violence. And I am overwhelmed that I will be able to add an impact, help someone to regain their self-esteem, help someone to re-identify who they are, and help to empower men and women who have suffered domestic violence. That is who I am. Thank you, Raghu.
Thank you,
Do
Dorothy.
you link to the book?
I'm sorry, we have very less time. We need to complete other proceeding. I'll take the question at the last. So it's time for our other things. We have some side dishes and also some that we'll cover as part of this feedback process. Now let me invite our timer for today and see how we're doing on timing. Shukrat.
Coming to the prepared speeches, Doreen gave us the duration of her speech was 6 minutes 22 seconds, and DMary's was 5 minutes 15 seconds. They both qualified and they gave a wonderful speech. I loved their obstinate effort to give a good speech. And coming to the evaluations, Mohan gave his evaluation time was for 3 minutes, and Pramod's evaluation time was 3 minutes 28 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shukrat. As a leader, you should not obstinate. You always should be open to the new ideas and the arguments that are coming as part of the meetings. I hope I made my mentee, Gujarmo, happy being the grammarian of the day. Let me invite grammarian of the day to see how we have been doing on the language part.
It was an awesome session. Raghu, speaking for about 50 minutes at the beginning of the meeting, I want to commend you for it. It's why we're all here, to speak well and sometimes for a long time. And you had great preparation. Doreen, you used the word obstinate, so awesome. I thought it was very interesting the way you organized your speech by separating your points into keys. It, as Mohan said, it had a very strong structure and made it easy to follow. DMarie, one of your quotes was, "You cannot coach unless you listen." And I really agree with that, because how do you solve a problem if you do not understand it? It's like trying to solve a puzzle with your eyes closed. Doesn't work. Mohan, very clear and useful evaluation. I hope to one day receive your advice. Pramod, describing the speech as stunning instead of good was cool. Stunning is a very descriptive word. Stunning and funny are two different words that could be replaced by good, but by using stunning, it helps the speaker understand more about their speech. And Shukruth, congratulations on using the word of the day, obstinate. That is my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. But what is a meal without any sweet dish? And the last but not least is the sweet dish being presented by Raghuram. It is our counter report. Raghuram.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Raghu. So today we had wonderful speeches, both from Doreen and Demery, and even the evaluators Mohan and Pramod, they are really good in giving the evaluation. So I was trying to identify the ahs and ums and the other words, filler words that anybody will be using today. But both the speakers are so much flawless, I couldn't even find a single filler word. So kudos to both the speakers. Evaluators Mohan and Pramod, they were exceptional too, except there are a couple of ahs and ums, not couple, only one ahs and one ums from Mohan and couple of ahs from Pramod, and there were some repetitive words from Pramod, I am, and something back to back. But other than that, their evaluation was exceptional too. So timer, no filler words or no ums. Grammarian, I found one at the beginning, but other than that, I couldn't find any other filler words. So overall, it was really good, and the flawless speeches by both of our speakers today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raghuram. Big round of applause for everyone for doing a great job. Remember, as a leader, it's all about leaping in, loving, and listening. At the same time, setting as example. It's all tying back what you said. That is what is expected in these roles. But the best part is in Toastmasters fail-safe environment. People do not judge you, or somebody will not come and bash you like what happens in professional life. But here you learn things slowly. When I served in different roles, it helped me to improve myself in my professional life. Right now, I'm taking care of 3 projects, but the ability to manage people, ability to listen to people, ability to one-on-ones without judging them, all those abilities I learned from my leadership roles. I hope you will take this as a learning and come forward to serve this club in officer roles. It's up to you which role you want to serve, but I would suggest when you are taking the roles like President, VP Education, and VP, there are roles where you need to have certain learning, with the ability and also the intent to serve. Other roles also have the intent, but thing is, then you can start even as a new member. As a president, I open the nomination officially for all the 7 officers role. Please reach out to me in private chat or in email, giving you intent that you are open to take up these roles, and then we will have club elections in the next week, where our club board director, distinguished Toastmaster Raji Bandhan Puri, will be conducting the elections. One good news, after the club elections, we get to hear recipe of a winning speech from none other than Alexander 2020 first runner-up, if I'm not wrong, Dr. Mary, this first runner-up, right? 2020, Alexander, right? First runner-up in 2020 World Championships of Speaking.
2022.
2022. Sorry, 2022 World Championship runner-up, and he's a great speaker. I hope you all join the session. All the PR will be out soon in a day. Hope to see you then, and I would like to stop recording now and get the feedback from our guests and members.